St. Louis, Missouri, the once proud city that hosted many professional wrestling events with a who's who coming through the doors of the Kiel Auditorium or the Checker Dome, has now been reduced to whatever the fuck has been going on in NXT. There are some good talents, and there's also some questionable shit like what in the world has happened to the tag division. Let's discuss it all, shall we? I'm John Renton with my review, WWE NXT Stand and Deliver 2026 from St. Louis, Missouri. Because I'll be dead in the ground before I recognize Missouri. They were at the factory. The show could have stood being put in a factory, possibly on an assembly line. Possibly the assembly line that was used in the fun-size tape on VHS Halloween. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I don't anticipate I'm going to review much NXT after this. I hadn't even reviewed anything since Halloween Havoc. I actually thought it was longer than that. It wasn't totally rotten. Let's get into it. 1, Booker T. Shut the fuck up, Booker. Stop sounding like somebody that's having a series of goddamn strokes because you're a terrible commentator. Absolutely abysmal. There's one thing to make the show fun. You can do that while also making the show actually seem like a wrestling event. But no, Booker T just refuses to fucking do that. Vic Joseph, God bless him, better be getting double pay dealing with Booker T. So, don't worry, I'm going to get to somebody else here in a bit. So, the 10-person tag, whatever thing was going on here, they shoved people on the goddamn card. Shiloh Hill, who apparently won the men's side of that LFG, teamed up with Ren Sinclair, E.K. Prosper, who used to be Eli Knight, a name I've heard of, and Hank and Tank. And they took on the Birthright. Still Birthright is more like it. But that being said, Lexis King, as well as Stax and Ariana Grace, who I believe are a couple. Good for them. I wish them nothing but the best. Uriah Connors, not Uriah Heep, as well as Charlie Dempsey. Why do they trust Lexis King, Brian Pillman Jr. to lead a stable? I mean, this match had, entrances that were almost as long as the goddamn, like bell-to-bell time. I think it went 6 minutes. I like the look of the venue. We got everybody doing everything in the melee, and Charlie Dempsey got pinned. Shiloh Hill got the victory. He's not bad. He has some good size. All right, so the cold open is given up on or delayed because Shawn Michaels comes out to bring out Sexy Red. What in God's name is that supposed to be? Is that a rapper? Is that a cartoon character? What in the world? My goddamn goodness, if this is what rap is, if this is what music is, if this is what sexy is, good goddamn Christ, filleting my own skin off would actually be better. It's probably what her goddamn music sounds like. I don't know if she's a nice person or not. But apparently she's from St. Louis, and I guess she has a following. Well, David Koresh also had a following, and this will probably end up the same way. So, yeah. Shawn Michaels was obviously keeping one eye on the camera and one eye on her. And the talents arrive. Booker is horrendous, is what I noted. So, on I believe the most recent NXT episode, because I saw people talking about this, Kendall Gray, who is a prospect that people have really been appreciating. I've seen posts from her. I've seen a couple clips of her work, but I can't say I've seen a full match of hers. And Lola Vice were having a number 1 contenders match. And it was a disputed finish because, if I'm right, I think Lola had her in some kind of submission, but there was a bridge pin. But then Kendall did the tap out thing on the side. So that's why we had this 3-way. And JC Jane got like a memories type entrance and everything. And good for her. JC Jane has been in NXT for a long goddamn time. A very long time. And I'm not saying that JC Jane should have been brought up after 1 year. She has been there for 5. Or close to it. Close to 5. And that was nice. Fallon Henley, my goodness. Good goddamn Christ. Lola Vice is there doing what she does. Kendall Gray has a good look. Kendall has ability. And she did some good throws here. She's a prodigy. But it's going to take some time, but she's got something, I'll say that much. The fans knew JC was leaving. JC's gone very soon. If she's not up on the Raw after WrestleMania, which I said I wasn't going to review anything after the Raw or after WrestleMania 42 Night 2. I might actually check out the Raw after WrestleMania, just for unless there is a mystery movie that day, because there's mystery movies almost every day, or every Monday, that is. The camera kept cutting out because apparently JC's gear didn't want to cooperate, much like English doesn't want to cooperate with me. And JC did try to do the divide and conquer thing. Kendall, some good throws, good talent here. Lola, I'm not saying Lola's terrible. I just don't, I can't take her seriously. I just can't. And there were near falls that were broken up, so it was a good pace. I'm not saying every match on this show was stellar. My God, there were certainly matches that weren't. But there were points to the show that actually, at least interested me. If I could just block out Booker T, who, it would have been just such a shame if his microphone got cut off. And we got an ankle lock. The camera kept cutting because, again, JC's gear was fighting. And we did get some nice submissions. We got a nice pace going, so they were cooking here, as the kids say. And a foot on the rope, Lola basically stopped this finish from, or the finish from going to JC, I believe. And then suddenly Fallon, Laney Reed, I think, is the other one. The one that's the younger one next to Fallon. Like Fallon's old. I'm just saying Fallon's been there longer. And Ren Sinclair apparently is in the corner of Kendall Gray, and they got in a fracas, and because there's no disqualification, they fought off. They fought off over there. And then we got a top rope flatliner for 2, so that was nice. Kendall did do a moonsault just before that, so okay, I see why people praise her. But a sleeper got stopped, and then a back fist. 1, 2, 3. Lola Vice is the new champion. Okay. I mean, people pop for it, and people seem to like Lola. I don't get it. I just don't. The ass popping doesn't exactly. Yes, she looks good, but I don't know. Just something about it's like, would you just wrestle instead? But it's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. So there we go. New women's champion, and we are rolling along with new champions a little bit later. But first, Kaylee Armstrong, who I believe she won that the women's side of LFG. If not, she has good size. So, whoever the fuck Vanity Project are, apparently they're Brad Boyhor or Bayhor or Mansoor. No, he's on AEW. And Ricky Smokes with Jackson Drake. Sounds like Discount fucking Jonas Brothers. Took on the Americanos. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Like, why? Like, what? Why is any of this Americano stuff going on U.S. television? You want to put it in CMLL, AAA, where apparently is popular? Fine, keep it there. What has happened to the tag division? The Twinks won. What the fuck you expect me to say about this? What? I don't even have anything against you there, but what was this? What was this? So anyway, yeah, I may not pay as much attention to NXT as I used to, but if this is the state of the tag division, just abolish it. Bring the NXT tag titles back in a year. Tatum celebrates with Shiloh Hill, jumping up and down. And, alright, then Sexy Red shows back up. Whatever. Ricky, he shows up, vowing to become NXT champion again. We get a package on Sol Ruka and Zarya, and honestly, this is probably the match I was looking most forward to, because I had the most build. They've had a friendship going on for a while, and Zarya has a good look. They built this thing well as far as Sol wanting to elevate Zarya, like, oh, I'm doing you a favor because you're not as good as me. So really, Zarya is kind of the face in this whole thing. And Sol jump starts. To be fair, Zarya did cost her a title match recently. And Zarya was more ground-based, as you would expect. It's not that she doesn't have agility, but she has more ground-based attack. Sol hit a nice German and a top rope dropkick for well, actually, I think it was a second rope dropkick. Still, whatever. Sol Snatcher damn near killed her. On the ramp, I really thought that she had hurt her shoulder, but she wasn't the one that was going to hurt her arm possibly on the goddamn ramp. But it was a spear through the ropes. And then another snatcher for 2. Okay, bit odd. I wouldn't have done another one. I mean, then again, I guess it kind of makes sense as far as the finish is kind of not getting as protected here. But we get an F5 variation for 2. We get a foot on the rope, so you're dealing with the X Factor. And suddenly, a third Soul Snatcher. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I would have thought Zarya would have won. I think Soul's going to end up going up to the main roster pretty soon, but it is what it is. Lola gets congrats from people, and then Sexy Red shows back up, and my God, why? She's not for me. If you like her and she actually does good music, well, God bless you. Because apparently you're as deaf as the NXT North American champion. I'm sorry, that was mean. They showed a Gargano and Miles Bourne sit-down interview, and I kept thinking, Johnny, can he actually hear you? Johnny, can you hear me? Can you feel me near you? So Candice is in Gargano's corner. I have made my takes clear on Gargano as far as his character. I feel that he has done everything he can. This is another time that he's been in NXT after being on the main roster. It just... If his contract is up soon, let him go to AEW. Like, let him go be with Ciampa, because they pretty much implied that's going to happen. Just let him go do that. Let him go be with Ciampa. And put Candice there, too, because her being outside is a hell of a lot better than watching her work. It's not that she's terrible, she's just bland. Miles Bourne is not bad, and he did an interview recently where he talked about how him and Stephanie Vaquer got together. And look, bless him, I wish them truly nothing but the best. And he understands why guys are angry at him or jealous. We should be jealous, but guess what? He's an athlete, he's famous, he apparently has a really good head on his shoulders, and any criticisms are falling on, no, I'm not going to say it. I can't hear you. God damn it. Bless Miles Bourne. But anyway, usual offense. Look, the crowd cheered Gargano, so I'm glad you lost the Rams, St. Louis. Sam Muchnick would have just, rose from his goddamn grave and said, what the fuck have you done to my goddamn city? So anyway, a top rope slam for 2. Miles has some good ability. I don't know how far he would go on the main roster, but I think mid-level at best. Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. Willow's Bell, one final beat. And Gargano just got a 2 count. Bourne again, basically a zigzag, but he did not get all of it. A roll-up for 2. Candice hits Bourne. God, I would have fallen asleep if I had to get that. I'm sorry, she's a charisma vacuum. And just 2, Gargano escape, middle of the ring, so I thought we actually were going to do a title change, but we didn't. Ropes. And Miles ended up winning soon after. Not terrible. Probably the most enjoyable Gargano match that I've seen in a while. I just find him boring. I just let him serve out his penance and go to AEW. God forbid if he shows up at the show I'm going to in like about 11 days. So anyway, Dion Lennox of Timu Shield shows up. He actually has a good look and some good size, but Dark State is abysmal. It's not even the talent's fault. It is a terrible stable. But he attacks Miles. Izzy Dame, I didn't actually realize that was her. She looks like an Amazon next to Soul, and I mean, not that Soul's tiny, but there you go. She wants the same thing Soul wants, so apparently Tyler Bate is going to have some problems. Actually, I think Izzy is the one that's dating Braun Steiner. Blake's entrance. I really hope that Blake Monroe, the former Mariah May, is happy. The booking has been suspect. And Tatum wants to play with Blake. Play with her doll. What did you think I was saying? Okay, so Blake had recently stolen the North American Championship, the Women's North American Championship. God damn it, too many fucking titles. From Tatum Paxley. And Tatum, Bless her. She's never going to be a ring general, but she has this character down. She has the people eating out of the palm of her hand, and she looks good, and she's into it. And she can do more than enough to get by, so it makes sense. Blake is very good. I don't know about this. I don't know about the mirror entrance thing, but it is what it is. She's happy. It's fine. Tatum, I thought, separated her shoulder doing a ramp bump. If she did, they kept going, so I think she's okay. And Blake would target the shoulder, do a crossface. The dogs are not in the enclosed pool area because the side garage door is not open. And, a flip kick for 2. And we got more kicks on the ground, looking like a fool with your kicks on the ground. A superplex, and then another suplex in the ring, and then a driver buster thing, a sit-down version, 1-2, kick out. Bit excessive, but okay. A powerbomb, and then Blake rolled outside, and then Blake somehow hit a powerbomb on Tatum. Outside. Ouch. Ouch. So, we then get a rolling kick. This is after, by the way, Blake had used the title and tried to cheat to get the victory, but it didn't work. Rolling kick by Tatum. And then eventually got the... she kicked out of the glamorous DDT and then hit the cemetery drive. 1, 2, 3. So Tatum retains the championship, gets back the title that Blake stole from her, but retains it because she never lost it, just lost possession of it. And possession is 9/10 of the Valium. I think that's how that phrase goes. And there we are. So, okay. There we are. Dark State's arguing on some steps. What? Nancy Argentino was spinning. So anyway, I don't know why I'm like this. Jasper Troy is a big lad. Why is Josh Briggs getting promo time in 2026? Blake apparently got Vanity Project to do her bidding. She has 3 man-slaves. You know who you are. Don't think about it. Don't. Just do not. So anyway, this Tony D'Angelo change, where he is now, whatever, he's doing a phase 1, a phase 2, a phase 3, and then a phase 4, where everybody's going to be possessed by ants. If you get that, my God, you love old movies like I do. So, yeah, Tony D'Angelo, I mean, he's put on muscle. It's different. At least he's not doing the mob boss thing anymore. Ricky's had some odd booking, and we said his name, and he appeared. Ethan Page is also there. Joe Hendry defending the the NXT, it kind of feels like it, but anyway, the NXT Championship against Ethan Page, who's been a North American champion. Was he actually the NXT champion? I'm trying to remember. I know him and Ricky Saints were feuding, I think around this time last year. But anyway, Tony D'Angelo is there, so it's a 4-way match for the NXT title. And look, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. How long until Ethan and Ricky end up, having this union shatter because they've been teaming up? Well, it didn't take long until Ethan had hit a splash on Ricky when it looked like they were going to do the Powerplex thing. People did shit. I mean, it kind of got to where it was a little bit messy. Joe did his dive over the top. It's hard to believe Joe Hendry is closing in on 40. I mean, I think he's got a couple more years. Joe does some heavy lifting. Tony does some heavy lifting. And it seemed like they really wanted Tony to win. It's not like they hated Joe, but they were booing him when it looked like he was going to win. So a spear for 2, a DDT for 2. This kept going because we kept getting kickouts. By the way, earlier, the steps were conveniently moved towards the announcer's table, where Ricky and Ethan were fighting, and then Tony just somehow comes up and, surprise, motherfucker, and spears him through the announcer's table. And I'm shocked didn't brain himself with the fact he went almost head first. And, yeah, then even though it looked like Joe was going to get the victory, no, spear, choke slam, something or other. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Tony D'Angelo's the NXT champion. So that happened. Not a bad show, but it's not. I'm not going to tune in to CW. One, I don't want to look for the affiliates that have CW and check it out. I'm sorry, I can only take so much ridiculousness. And Booker T needs to be removed from commentary. And if he is part of the package deal, then this may be the last NXT event I review. Maybe not. Who knows? I could change my mind on a whim. So we're on the road to WrestleMania. Pretty much WrestleMania predictions and then WrestleMania reviews for night 1 and 2 will be happening. And then I'll know after Raw after Mania, possibly. Depends on the movie. If there's a movie. And we'll see. So, yeah, that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Redland. Until we see what wrestling I review at some point, maybe it's going to be something older. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something to stop Booker from turning my ears black and blue. Happy trails to you.